What is up, YouTube? I'm Devon DaVinci, leader of the Renaissance crew, and you're watching DaVinci Reacts. And for some reason, people have trouble identifying what the Renaissance crew is. If you're subscribed to this channel, you are a part of the Renaissance crew. There you go. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for coming through for one more Ricky Gervais reaction. This is Ricky Gervais Show, Season 1, Episode 11, Beetles. Now, I know sometimes they pick their titles based on like one small segment in the podcast, or I guess it wasn't a podcast at the time, it was like a radio show. And it might not be that significant, but I'm hoping that they'll at least talk about the music Beatles, not just the animal. But then knowing Karl Pilkington, he might just talk about the damn animal. Before I get into this, I have a bit of an issue today. I woke up this morning and my lip was swollen for some reason. I'm not sure why the fuck that was the case, but you don't really notice it now. But when I smile, you can definitely see that my smile is crooked. So this part right here is just swollen and won't go down for some reason. But hopefully that won't get in the way of your enjoyment. Hell, that might be able to add to it. The fact that I got like a Sylvester Stallone lip going on right now. But anyway, let's jump into this and see what it has to offer. This video was uploaded by Tianshu Lee. I will have a link for their channel at the end of this video.
For the past few years, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant, and Karl Pilkington have been meeting regularly for a series of pointless conversations. This is one of them.
Testing. Is that all right?
Hello and welcome to the Ricky Gervais Show with me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant.
Hello.
And the little round-headed buffoon that is Karl Pilkington.
All right.
We do, of course, Rick, every week get thousands of emails. I mean, it's Freddie from Winchester says, of course, it was recently Valentine's Day. What's the most romantic thing that you've done for Suzanne, Karl, that you can think of?
Oh, this is going to be good.
I don't really do all
Sure. The Valentine's Day stuff.
It's just, the problem is, if you do it once, they expect it every year. That's the problem with Christmas and stuff.
That's the point of a holiday.
That's what you do now, every year.
Every day, yeah.
So I prefer to just sort of wait, you know what I mean? And you know, if I think of an idea or I know of something that she wants, I might get her something, but I might not do it on Valentine's Day. It's that thing, it's like how I've said about Pancake Tuesday. Make it Pancake Wednesday. Have it when you want. Why am I waiting? Why am I waiting for someone to tell me when I can have a pancake? I'll have it today if I want one. Do you know what I mean? There's Pancake Tuesday. No, I won't bother. I'll have a trifle. So it's the same with this. You know, with Suzanne. Luckily, right? I mean, Valentine's Day and what have you. She was ill.
Luckily.
So we didn't have to go out. So I'd say, is he asking for advice?
Well, I suppose, yeah, certainly you may as well give it.
Treat them when they deserve it.
I remember once when Suzanne was ill, she had a fever, but there was no food in the house. What did you suggest to her? She was too ill.
Well, it was when we were still living in Manchester and that, and you know, we needed to get some food in for tea and stuff. And I said, come to the supermarket. She was like, no, I'm ill, you go. And I hate buying food. I just sort of get a bit blank when I'm looking at it. There's too much, isn't there? That's the problem. You go down all these aisles and there's just too much. So anyway, I said, no, come with me. She was like, oh, but I've got this fever, I'm hot and everything. So I said, well, come to the supermarket, you go on the frozen aisle, cool yourself down. And she did. And she said, you know, it made it worse. She was ill for another 3 days.
How would you go about chatting up a woman in a bar? What tips could you give?
I've never worked like that. It's always been like a friend of a friend and all that, and just happened to meet them, and then you know you have a chat, and then.
How did you meet Suzanne?
That was when I was working with her, and she gave me 20p for the hot chocolate machine. She never asked for it back. Thought she's all right. Been there sort of 11 years, so it works.
Has she ever given you that? You've never given that 20p
never
back?
asked for it back.
Did you return the favour, perhaps on the next date? You buy her a Kit Kat or something?
No, I don't think I did. I think word got out that she liked me and that. And what did I do? I think I did some work for her. Did some editing for her, sort of show off my skills and that.
Sure.
And she was like, "Oh, you're good at this, aren't you?" I was like, "Yeah." And I think she got us another drink because I was doing that editing for her in my own time.
So you're up. You're up on the deal.
She
aren't you?
rubbed the head.
So I
That
know
was the
now for a
magic.
fact that you've not
That
spent
was the
any
thing
money
right there.
on
She
her
rubbed the
11
head.
years. So you're 40p up.
At least. Lawrence from New York says, I was wondering how Mr. K. Dilkington would interpret this famous saying of philosopher Ludwig Wittgenstein. The quote is, if a lion could talk, we could not understand him.
Even if he's English.
Yeah, if a lion could speak English, so there's no language barrier. He's speaking English words and using all the correct grammar and everything, but you wouldn't
a
be able to
Smash
understand
poet?
what he was saying
Why?
because it is from a different world. His frames of reference would be so bizarre that you wouldn't be able to get a grasp on what he was talking about because you'd have so little in common, even if he used real words.
No, but he's talking English.
Yeah, no, but his reference points would be just so far
That
removed.
traffic was like a hyena in a
You know,
bush
they'll move
patch.
slightly when if you saw
Okay.
two people talking about Kierkegaard, you'd
I
hear
wouldn't understand it.
exactly. So remove that a billion times to a different species with different input.
No, but it depends. If I'm talking to a lion in London Zoo,
Yeah.
he'll be saying, "Oh, I'm fed up of being stuck in here." I'll go, "Yeah." It's like that. It depends what his background is. I mean, there's some people who might have lived down the road from me, but have a totally different life.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't matter that it's a lion, does it?
Well, yeah, because they're just trying to remove it even more. So
I think
so
the
now
people
it's not
living
just
down
a
the
bloke
road
who
is
lived a few doors away.
further.
Now it's not even a bloke. Now it's not even.
Yeah, but I'd pick something smaller
Right.
or something, a worm without a mouth. I'd go definitely not.
What? Definitely not what?
I wouldn't be having a chat with it. I just think that a worm that's underground.
Yeah.
What's it got to offer me? It's blind and it hasn't got a mouth.
Derek.
It's not going to be a good day out with it. Is what I'm saying. It's not going to have that much to say to me, even if it's English. Right?
Even if it's
And how can you tell if a worm is English? Does it wear a very tiny bowler hat?
Oh, Christ.
But do you understand?
What about jellyfish?
No, you see, I think that's where you can say you wouldn't be able to have a good chat with them, because to me, the sea might as well be another world,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
In a way, I think the fish sort of have more rights than us,
What do you mean?
just because when whoever made the world, right?
Yeah.
Say, we're just bigging up God, but if I
Yeah.
was to have a go at him,
Yeah.
I'd say you added too much water.
Criticism 1 to God.
Karl Pilkington is
So-
IGN now.
How would you have changed that? Just
More land.
Fair enough. Now, why have fish got more rights than us? That was what I was interested in.
Because there's loads of them, and when you look at the amount of sea on the world, right, there's loads of that. You only have to like I was in Malaga the other week, right, and you look in the sea, there's loads of different fish, and that's just in like 8-foot water. If you go miles out, there's like all sorts of weird fish, isn't there, with like lights on them and everything. So, and there's just millions of different types.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
But why does that mean they've got more rights than us?
just because I think, rights come in numbers, don't they? If you know what I mean. Like, if there's one of you shouting, people go, "Oh, he's an idiot, shut up," whatever. If there's loads of you shouting, they go, "Oh, best listen to him, see what they've got to say." And that's what I mean about fish.
Yeah.
There's loads of fish,
Right.
so
But they're not really making their voices heard, though, are they, Carl?
I know because they're underwater. But
We
what I
don't
mean
hear their
is-
protests.
I don't know what I mean.
The struggle of the fish. Karl doesn't understand what he's talking about.
Karl, right? What do you think it's like being a crab? If you could go now, your mind into a crab, what would you see? Where would you be? What would you be doing? What would you be thinking? What would you think of all the other things the crabs you'd see, the squids you'd see? What's it like, do you think? I want you to. It's like creative writing. Just think. Just let yourself go. Come on.
It's got to be a crab.
What do you think of a slug? What do you think to be a slug? What would you do if you were transported now into a slug? What would you do? And Suzanne, you're suddenly in the kitchen, but you're a slug, and Suzanne's sort of like there, just making tea and that. How do you let her know?
Ricky can't
That's
whistle,
you.
It's
apparently.
impossible. I'd just chuck myself into the salt pot or something. No, because what do you do? I'd hate that. That would be horrible, that.
Oh God!
Have you ever read Franz Kafka's Metamorphosis?
Don't
In which a
think so.
man wakes up and he's turned into a giant beetle? and that's the whole story. I
Uh,
think it might be of interest to you.
so what happened to him with the beetle?
Well, I don't want to ruin it for you in case you read
No,
it.
I
but
won't be
it's,
reading it. Don't worry.
He joined.
Oh, I won't be reading it, don't worry.
People. He was brilliant.
No, it's a really wonderful book. It's a kind of almost heartbreaking.
There's that reference I was
Because
looking for.
He does, like Ricky's saying, he finds it very hard then to relate to other people, even though he still has the consciousness of a human. You know, his parents, his rest of his family, they don't know how to deal with him, you know, because he's a giant beetle. He becomes a freak, he becomes an outsider. It's terrible, you know.
But hang on though, is he a giant beetle or
Yeah.
is he? Well, yeah. Well, that's not going to go down well, is it? Of course, people aren't going to like it. But if it's a normal-sized one, then you just get in with the other beetles, don't you? Whereas if you're a giant,
How would you do that? How would you ingratiate yourself? Right. So you're suddenly a beetle. You're Karl Pilkington, right? There's other people. They're doing their business. They're scuttling around, and you go in there and they look at you as a new beetle. What's your first? What do you do? How do you ingratiate yourself?
well, for a bit, I wouldn't sort of barge into their house and that. I'd wait until they're out and about, and I'd like in life, right? Sort of help them out. I don't know what beetles do all day. I've never seen one doing anything. They just seem to be going from one place to another.
Right.
I've never seen them carrying anything. I don't know what they eat. I don't know what they do. I don't know how we got them, right? But what I mean is, I'd watch them and I'd sort of help them out. And I mean, you know, it's like going on a date or meeting a woman, isn't it?
But what if there is?
Whoa, hang on, what do you mean? How is it like going on a date with a woman?
Well, it's like I said about Suzanne with her hot chocolate. She bought me that, and I've gone, she's all right. Right? She gets me another one. Before I know it, she's living with me. So,
So you're all these beetles. They're scrubbing around, right? You're sort of like watching them, and then you realise that you want to mate with this female beetle. What do you do? What's your first move?
Oh boy.
Yeah, but I don't know what beetles do I? So I don't know how what you do. I don't know if you go up and go, all right. What do they do? How do they get on?
Well,
It's a different world. I don't know yet, do I? Because I haven't done it.
would you feel bad because having your own mind in this beetle, right? Would you feel bad shagging a beetle? Would you feel that was a bit sick because you've got a human mind?
Well, no, because you just close your eyes and that, wouldn't you? Think of something else.
That was a bit
So,
much.
Get round it that way. There's no point getting down about it because I'm stuck now as a beetle. So you've got to get on with it.
But if you're a slug, you said you'd throw yourself in the salt pot. What would you do if you were a beetle if you got depressed? And you see all the other humans.
No,
you see your mates, right? They're listening to the iPod. What would you do?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. No, beetles are different because they do tend to hang about with each other. A slug's always on its own. It's a lonely insect, isn't it?
It's not an insect.
All right, what is it?
A mollusk.
Right, they're lonely. I've never seen a load of snails all together or slugs wandering about. Whereas beetles seem to knock about in crowds.
Yeah.
So, oh God. Okay, right, another one.
So they're sociable creatures, and it wouldn't bother you that you've got the mind of Karl Pilkington in there? Because you can't communiccation with these people,
what if
because they
you're-
don't speak English. They don't have any communication with you.
Yeah, but if it's happened to me, there'll be another one in there.
Okay then. Right. Okay. What would you do, right? That's the most disgusting thing. What could it be? Right. What would you do, right? If you were suddenly a fly, right, and you were knocking around with the flies, right, and you had to land on some,
Excrement?
yeah. What would you do?
Yeah, but I don't have to.
What do you mean? You're a fly.
Yeah,
You're
but I
loving it.
wouldn't. No, I wouldn't be loving it, though, would I?
Why?
Because I'm me in that fly's head. So I don't think other flies would be going, come on, join in. I'd just be like, no, I'll wait here, wait, watch and that. Because I don't see why they have to do that.
What would you do, right, if you had to go back and you were in a, you were had to go and put your mind in like the an hatched egg of something, like maybe one of those that a wasp was injected in a spider. So you know you're in an egg, right, which is really uncomfortable, in a spider. How would you feel about that, Karl? You're a baby wasp in the abdomen
That's a bit
of a
much.
spider.
And I know everything that I know now. I'm sat in there.
Yeah. And now I'm in a spider as an unborn wasp. What the fuck am I doing here? What's going on?
I don't know what I'd do there. Probably try and sleep. There's nothing else to do, though, is there?
I just pray to God it never happens.
I don't believe it. He's written it down.
Okay. I keep forgetting
Well,
that's
the jingle that
his.
signals it's time for
I
more
keep forgetting
extracts
his
from
jingles.
Karl's diary, and we'll lunge straight into it. Wandered down Carnaby Street. There was a happy homeless fella. I gave him £1.50. I thought of a tongue twister after giving him the money. It goes, If you can't treat a cheerful tramp, what sort of tramp can you treat?
It's good, that.
All
Say
right.
it fast.
If you can't treat a cheerful tramp, what sort of tramp
Don't
can
go
you
calling people tramps in America.
Isn't
It doesn't roll as
got too much time on your
well
hands.
as that.
treat? Learned some famous quotes to see if they are as good as my sayings. Number 1, treat every day as if it's your last. Very famous saying. Now, is that something you do, Karl?
But you know, my problem with that one is that if it was your last, you wouldn't want to be doing much. That's the only problem I've got with that. I wouldn't want to, you know, go to a fairground or whatever because you're going, oh, it's my last day, what am I going to do? And I think you'd spend so much time worrying about what you're going to do that you'd end up staying in.
I think you're right. You've taken some of the poetry out of it. I think it means live life to the fullest, right?
I like the fact that you were musing on the idea that if it was your last day, you'd go to the fair. It's getting such a 19th century way of spending the final day.
I know, yeah. Well, the thing is, the other thing is that the only thing that people get depressed about in terms of sort of like you know, life and death is not the knowledge that they're gonna die, but more the knowledge that they know they're gonna die when they're dying. If someone told you, no one ever knows when they're gonna die, no one ever gets an illness, no one ever gets hit by a truck, everyone passes away peacefully in their sleep, dreaming they're riding a big marshmallow, right? Then you wouldn't care about anything. It wouldn't matter when. It wouldn't matter if you died tomorrow or in 30 years' time. You'd just live life to the full. You'd have it every day would be great. You'd go out. You'd come back. You'd fall asleep. That would be amazing. There'd be no stress. There'd be no angsty. We're all gonna die stress, because it wouldn't matter, because it would just be your life. Wouldn't it be amazing if someone guaranteed you, Karl, you're gonna die in your sleep? I'm not gonna tell you when.
Yeah, but some people do, don't they?
Well, exactly.
Yeah,
But we
I
never
want
know
that.
we're going to, because we stress. What if we get a dreadful illness? What if we, you know...
But we're almost not letting people die naturally anymore, are we? Because we're always bodging stuff up.
What do you mean?
Well, someone who might naturally die in the sleep aren't allowed to naturally die in the sleep because they wake them up with those electric things and get them going again and pop in a new lung or whatever whilst they're at it. That's what I'm saying. They don't just... You never hear it anymore, do you? Frank peacefully died in his sleep. No, he died on the operating table whilst we're putting in a new lung. They don't die naturally anymore.
Frank died peacefully with 40,000 volts going through them and a couple of people going, clear! Clear!
Rushing about today. Got to get a lot done as I'm flying to Malaga tomorrow to see my mum and dad. Don't like flying. I'd be happy if they give you a parachute instead of a life jacket. They say DaVinci invented the parachute as well as the helicopter. He never got round to making them though because he only drew them on some paper.
Okay.
Got up at 5 a.m. as I had to get to Heathrow to get on the plane to see mum and dad in Malaga. Went out for a drink
I guess
with
he
a
made
cousin who lives in Spain.
helicopters,
Ain't
if
seen
you
him for
wanna
27 years.
Identify him as that?
Oh, that must have been tricky making conversation.
I didn't really bother. Because where do you start? I might as well go up to anyone in the street and start having a chat.
Yeah, you have to get further back than... did you want Chantal to win Big Brother?
Yeah. Me dad and me talked about history. I said we shouldn't go on about things that happened ages ago because I bet something similar has happened more recently.
Brilliant.
Read about an island in the Indian Ocean where there are tribesmen still living like they're cavemen. A helicopter tried to land and the tribesmen chucked spears at them. This is what I meant about not having to talk about things that happened ages ago. We have got new cavemen now, so why do we talk about the old ones? People could have lived before, but computers and all that blew up and books got burnt, so all they had left was what these tribesmen have got left.
Ramblings
And that's
of
the
a
ramblings
madman.
of a maniac.
That
I mean,
is
that's just a
that
few
one kinda lost
hours
me.
before you go crazy with a gun in the...
No, but what I mean there is, right? Say if all this has happened before, something happens.
Again, a lot of information from the Planet of the Apes.
History
world
repeating
ends,
itself.
right? We come back again somehow.
Yeah. It's the detail you leave out that makes you intriguing. Just like the watch that you can wear that tells you when you're going to die. How does it work? Pop it on your wrist. That's all the detail you need. So the world happened.
No.
We came back.
Have you seen the pictures? Forget it then if you don't get it.
It's interesting that you had all those profound thoughts about this period into the past when they all lived, but you still found it appropriate to include at the end of that. It says the tribesmen wave their knobs about when they've had enough of having visitors.
That's what it said in the paper. That's what happens. They're quite happy.
What paper is this that you're reading?
It was in like a paper a couple of days ago. It said they don't mind having visitors if they're bringing them coconuts and stuff that they can eat, once they've got everything they need, they start waving the tackle about, and that means like, right, leave now, which you would, wouldn't you?
Yeah, at a dinner party.
My grandfather used to do that.
Put a little bit of a remix on it.
That jingle is getting more annoyed by the week.
Well, this is the final monkey news, right? I'm not doing this anymore, right? Because we've covered it all.
Carl's had
All
enough.
the monkey news has been covered.
It has. We've done loads of them. I think all the news that needs to be sort of known has been told, right?
That is the end of the news. Jesus Christ.
What?
Get on with it.
Right? Do you know we chatted about the monkey that went into space and stuff?
This was the one that was fed by bananas that came out of a little chute on the spacecraft.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It went up there. He came back. He could never get that
The high,
high
exactly,
again.
yeah.
You know what I mean? He tried other things. I think he tried to get a band together. Right. So anyway, there was loads of monkeys that were signed up to this NASA program, and it was 1961 when this little monkey called Ham, that was his name, as well as him, there was one called Enos. So anyway, what I found out about it since then, Ham went up there, did the left-right business with the bananas. Enos, they didn't put as much work into the trip when he went up there, and something went wrong with the machinery. And do you know how you get a banana for the left button and all that?
It's official now.
Yeah.
There's two buttons in this spaceship. Banana dispenser and everything else. The right button is everything else.
But it worked the other way. The machinery went weird.
Oh no, really?
So it meant that the right button would give him a banana.
Right.
The left button did everything else.
Oh no.
How did
So
that, how
what,
did
so
that
what had been
happen, though?
taught?
What? Oh,
This is the problem with electronics, isn't it?
well, no, I don't think
No,
that's...
apparently this is the problem.
But the good, I mean, honestly, look it up if you want. This is all online. By the
So
way.
what happened when it all went haywire? What occurred?
Luckily,
Carl, this is online and it's bollocks.
luckily, Enos, because he'd done a few trips,
Right,
so he was like,
experience.
well, I know this isn't right. As much as I love bananas, this isn't right.
So he's thinking, of course it was.
So anyway, so he came back. They were all like over the moon. with
Monkey
him.
was
He's
thinking
like,
of the greater
"It's
good.
a good mission and everything. Well done on working it out. He sorted all that out. It moved on a few years. Armstrong's gone up there. Buzz and that other fella. They've been up there. The monkeys aren't needed anymore. But they were like, we've got all these monkeys who have done NASA training. What are we going to do with them all? And they had to raise £14 million to make him like an old sort of chimp tome for retired
Retired NASA-trained monkeys.
Chimpanauts.
chimpernauts. Something they've got in there is like a little museum, right, of all the missions and that they've been on, so they can sort of, even though they're not going to be going into space again, they can almost relive it and reminisce of the times that they've had.
The old monkey
Uh,
just
Reminiscing
getting
of each
to me.
other, are they?
Just sort of,
Okay, right, the
remember
old
that
times.
time when it all went wrong, the button became the left when it should have been the right and all the rest of
Yeah.
it. They just, sort of
Old times,
talking
yeah.
about old times and what have you, like old people like to do.
Sure.
And yeah, that's it. So if you want,
Perhaps we should retire monkey news to that same place.
that's what I mean. So, you know, I hope you've enjoyed the monkey news and that. That was the last one. Look after the monkeys. Do your bit because they've done their bit. That's it. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna miss
But
the
just 'cause
jingle
I'm
the
not
most.
giving the news, look it up. Do you know what I mean? It's all out there. Don't be ignorant.
Wise words.
See, I've actually done some reactions to some of the older episodes. Like I think I did one of a season 3 one, and maybe a season 2 one. And for some reason, off the top of my head, I don't remember if Monkey News was in it, like if it continued. But who knows? Maybe they took a little small hiatus and brought it back, or they never brought it back. I don't really remember. But either way, I'm Devon DaVinci. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I love listening to Karl Pilkington talk. It seems at this point like the more the series goes on, the more Ricky's chair gets closer to Steve's, and it's more of a Steve and Ricky versus Karl. That's what it seems like it's turning into. At this point, it's just like listening to the ramblings of Karl Pilkington, I keep saying podcast, the radio show. But yeah, I'm Devon DaVinci. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and share. Like I said, I will have a link for the original uploader, Tianshu Lee, at the end of this video. You can click on it, or you can click on the icon, and it'll take you to their channel. and you can watch all the other videos. They have a ton of other stuff besides Ricky Gervais show. So if you want to see other shows and things like that, go ahead and check it out. And that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna go ahead and move on. You've just been a little bit more enlightened, and Devon DaVinci is signing out now. Deuces.